Hey guys, welcome back to Web on the Web. It's me, Dan, and I hope you enjoyed your Christmas and had a nice time with your family. And welcome to 2017. I'm sorry that this video is late, but I've been a bit busy. There's been a few things that have happened in my family in the past 2 weeks, so it kind of delayed it, but it's here now. So, this is the best of 2016, my favourite films, and I actually have 7 different awards to give. It's not just Film of the Year, I've also got Best Soundtrack, Best Character Portrayal by an Actor or Actress, Best Superhero Film, Best Animated Film, Most Anticipated Film of 2017, and finally, the Best Film of 2016. So we're going to start off with the Best Soundtrack of film in 2016. So, when I was looking at this, I took into account things like, am I still listening to the soundtrack now, even after months after the film has come out? Does the soundtrack stick with me? Does the soundtrack match the mood, the tone, and everything that's in the film? And in my opinion, the 4 nominations I have here, the soundtrack does match it very well. So to start, I have Sing Street. Sing Street, of course, directed by John Carney, about the group of lads in Dublin who want to start a band to impress a girl. The music in Sing Street is fantastic. I loved it. It's very catchy, very, it's like an earworm type thing, and I'm still singing it to this day. Second nomination is Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was an okay film for me. It wasn't amazing, but it was alright. Soundtrack, though, I thought was very good. It really, it matched like the mayhem and the anarchy and all of the craziness that comes with the Suicide Squad film. You had artists like Eminem, who else was in it? Imagine Dragons, 21 Pilots. Heathens is a fantastic song, by the way. That's the best film in the movie. Panic at the Disco, they do a great cover of Bohemian Rhapsody. There's a lot of great things in that soundtrack. Thirdly, we have The Nice Guys, starring Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling as a detective and like this rough wise guy in Los Angeles in the 1970s. The film is the soundtrack is all funk and the 1970s psychedelic type music. It's really fun and it really does match the tone of the film. And finally, we have the Lonely Isles contribution to the film this year. Pop Star Never Stop Stopping, starring Andy Samberg. The music in that film is great. It's like this big piss take of modern pop star, crazes. That type of thing, like Justin Bieber and all of that. There's a lot of stuff that takes the piss out of Justin Bieber here. But so I enjoyed that, and I thought the music was good in that film. But of course, there can only be one nomination that gets the film, and in this case, it's Sing Street. I love the soundtrack of Sing Street, and it's a homegrown Irish film. There's some great different styles of music covering all the different styles of the 80s, and yeah, you should get the soundtrack for this film. It's great. So continuing on, next we have Best Character Portrayal. Now this is the best portrayal by either an actor or an actress that I felt really captured what they were going with the character. You're going to notice a little something here. A lot of the awards I do give out are for a lot of superhero stuff. I just feel that superhero films, they have a lot more in them than some people might think. They've got a lot of heart, a lot of joy, a lot of fun, a lot of good portrayal, a lot of good acting. And you'll see here in these nominations that that's true. Now, firstly, of course, we've got Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. That man, he went through a lot to get that film made. He played Deadpool in X-Men Wolverine Origins. That did not go well at all, as we know. But then he fought back, and he supposedly does not know who was involved in the releasing of that little, teaser footage that came out 2 years ago that actually got the Deadpool film put into production. But I'm glad that the person he does not know who did it because he really shines as Deadpool. He was born to be Deadpool, and if you look at his Twitter account, any social media platform that he's on, you'll see that he is embodying the character of Deadpool. in real life as well. Secondly, I've got Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Come on, that man is awesome, and he kicked ass as Stephen Strange, and I really liked his contribution to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I can't wait to see him in Infinity War. I've got a bit of a curveball here. Here's a character that's not a superhero. Tom Hanks as Sully. That film was fantastic. I went in there and I left and I was like, oh my god, wow. Hanks really portrayed not just a hero, he portrayed a survivor, a man who's haunted by what happened to him. And it's very obvious that he's got PTSD and he's suffering trauma. And Hanks really brought that out. And I think he's going to be nominated for an Oscar personally. But this is my personal pick. And for me, the best character portrayal this year from an actor was Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. The man is a legend, and it comes over into real life. If you go onto his Twitter, it's almost like he's breaking the fourth wall, just like Deadpool is. So this was a great film as well. Ryan Reynolds did a great job as Deadpool, and I can't wait for Deadpool 2. So next we have, leading on from that, we have Best Superhero Film, a special award that's very close to my heart. So we have 4 different nominations here. First, we've got Batman vs Superman Ultimate Cut. Now, I know a lot of people gave Batman vs Superman a lot of crap when it came out, and I know it wasn't perfect. It was far from perfect, but I cut it a bit of slack because I did enjoy it. I enjoyed I liked Ben Affleck's portrayal as Batman, and yeah, I just thought it was I like the idea that Superman should be held accountable for everything that's happened. It's kind of a more realistic take on it, even though it could have been done a lot better. But I think the Ultimate Cut does flush out what Snyder was trying to do a bit more than what we saw in the cinemas. So yeah, that's why that's there, and I enjoyed it. Secondly is Deadpool. For the reasons I gave before, Deadpool is an amazing film. It's funny as hell. Really just a laugh riot. Don't let your kids watch it though, unless you do want to. In that case, just go ahead. It's not my call. Next we have Captain America Civil War, and as you can see, I'm wearing a Team Stark t-shirt. Don't let that discourage you though. I'm Team Cap, but I also have a, as you can see, I also have a Team Cat t-shirt, but unfortunately I just haven't taken it out of the packet yet. So the biggest thing about that film was the fact that it got me to understand where both Cap is coming from and where Stark is coming from. And it did it really well. And I didn't think it was going to be like a 50-50 cut down the middle. I thought it was going to be leveraging towards Cap being the hero and Stark being the villain. But it doesn't do that at all. They both have their own motivations. They have very good reasons for being on the sides that they are on. And that just makes the Civil War even more tragic, but also a lot more lighthearted than Batman vs Superman ever was. It's just got that Marvel fun factor to it. And finally, we have the Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was just a really fun film. There was a lot. I love the psychedelic, the psychedelic mindfuckery of the astral plane and the magic and all the imagery that Scott Derrickson brought into the film. And I love Benedict Cumberbatch. He was great in that film. And I can't wait to see him in Infinity War and also in Doctor Strange 2. And revealed the other day in Thor Ragnarok. Actually gives me a reason to look forward to Thor Ragnarok, because if you do not know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Thor films. They're not my cup of tea. Okay, and the winner is Captain America Civil War. Captain America Civil War is it's an amazing film, and I just love the conflict between Stark and Cap, and I just love the way it's brought across, and the Russo brothers did a fantastic job directing this. I'm really glad that they're directing Infinity War. Another year to wait, but hey, we have 3 Marvel films to keep us busy this year, so it should be alright. It should be an okay wait. Next, we've got Best Animated Film. Now, I've only got 2 in this category, to be honest. There wasn't that much in the animated space this year that interested me. So I only have 2 that I felt really do deserve an award. a mention for the best animated film of 2016. First off, we've got Pixar's entry into 2016, Finding Dory. Finding Dory was a very enjoyable film. I loved the idea that Dory is looking for a family, and it plays more into the memory loss thing that we saw in Finding Nemo. And I love that. It makes for some great comedic moments, some very good heartfelt moments. And I like the fact that Nemo and Marlin go along on the adventure with her, and all the other characters from the first film are brought back. I would say, though, that I do still prefer Finding Nemo. I think it's just the better film of the two, but that's just my preference. But yeah, personally, I just think that Finding Nemo trumps Finding Dory, but only just by a bit. Finding Dory is still a very good film. And we have Disney Animated Studios entry, Zootopia. Zootopia was a really good film. It was a lot better than I actually expected it to be. One thing I love about Zootopia is the fact that it deals with real life issues such as discrimination, global warming, segregation, all that type of thing. It's all done in a very playful and Disney-like way. And it's all done with anthropomorphic animals, so you know it's a lot of fun. So guys, if I had to give the best animated film this year, I'd actually go with Zootopia. Finding Dory was a good film, but I just thought Zootopia, I enjoyed watching Zootopia more. Plus, I love the banter between Nick and Judy Hopps. Nick is a great character. He's played by Jason Bateman. He's a fox, and I love Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman's I like his acting style, and he really brought it here. So that's Zootopia. Okay, guys, we're gonna go on to my most anticipated film of 2017. I've got 5 nominations here, and you're gonna notice a lot of them are superhero films. Come on, that's kind of my thing. So, but I've also got 1 or 2 normal films in there as well. So here we go. First off, I've got Logan. Hugh Jackman's final film as Wolverine. I love Hugh Jackman. He's a fantastic actor, and he's been great in the role ever since the first X-Men film way back in 2001. Jackman leaving the role, it kind of means something to me as well, because I watched him when I was a kid, and it signifies also the fact that I'm no longer a kid. That one of my childhood heroes is now, well, he's gone. Basically, he's done. And I'm really looking forward to it. The trailer looks fantastic. I love the use of Hurt by Johnny Cash. It just looks like it's going to be a really serious and emotional story to tell this time, and I can't wait for it. Secondly, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy #1 was my film of the year in 2014. But it was not my Marvel film. Funnily enough, Winter Soldier is still my favourite Marvel film, but I still gave the film of the year to Guardians of the Galaxy. Mainly because I enjoyed it so much, and I just loved the style and the characters and just the whole thing. It was amazing. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 looks like it's keeping up that, and I'm really looking forward to more of getting to see more of these characters. Getting more of that fun, dynamic relationship between the team and all the comedy. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for it. Thirdly, here's a little wild card for you. Kingsman's The Golden Circle. I love the first Kingsman. I thought it was a great film. I loved the way it just took the piss out of all the different spy films like James Bond, Mission Impossible, those type things. But it did it all with like this. It was a comedy at heart. It had Taron Egerton as Eggsy, and it introduced us to him, and he's a pretty good actor. And it had the man himself, Colin Firth, playing Galahad, and Colin Firth is a personal favourite of mine. And I know that he was killed in the first one, spoiler, but somehow apparently he's coming back in the next one, so I can't wait to see how that plays out. And finally, I have Justice League. Now, I know this is getting a bit of lashback because of what happened with Batman vs. Superman, but I think that I liked Batman vs. Superman. I liked the direction they went with it. I just didn't like the way that it was cut together and executed. This is the way. This is where they can redeem themselves. They've rushed it a bit. I'm going to agree with that. It's been rushed way too fast. But it's not his fault. That's fucking Warner Brothers Studios who just want their money and to catch up with Marvel. I really wish they wouldn't just try and catch up with Marvel. I wish they do their own thing, but there's nothing really you can do about it. But if I had to pick out of those four ones, my favourite, my most anticipated film of 2017 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be a blast, and it's coming out in May for my birthday. They knew what to get me. And guys, we've come to the big one. This is the best film of 2016, in my opinion. There have been so many great films that in 2016. It was hard to narrow this down, but I've done it. And here we go. The first nomination is The Nice Guys. Shane Black did a great job of directing this buddy cop type film, and it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of humour, there's a lot of dark comedy in there as well, and there's a lot of situational comedies based in the 1970s. Two guys get together to track down this girl, and they stumble across a pornography ring, and they have to take it down. It's a great film. I really enjoyed it, and unfortunately, I don't know if we'll see a sequel because the box office for it wasn't great. But a man can live in hope. Secondly, we have Sing Street. The reason I put Sing Street on here was because A, the soundtrack's fantastic, and B, I just love the film. I love John Carney's other two films, Once and Begin Again as well. Personally, I think this is the best of the three. Now, I'm going to get a bit... I know some people might disagree with me, but hear me out. I love the way he perfectly captured the idea of Dublin in the 1980s, the recession, the hardship, everything that everyone was going through. And it's all there. It's almost as if he was there himself, which, funnily enough, here's a fun fact for you. He was there. He grew up in Dublin in the 1980s. And it's just a great feeling to get to just see it on screen as if it's real. And the music really brings it alive, the characters, their motivations, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. Next, we have Captain America Civil War. It was my favourite superhero film of the year, so it went on my best films of the year list. And I just love Civil War, and I think it's going to be one people are talking about for a long time. Finally, we have Deepwater Horizon, starring Mark Wahlberg and directed by Peter Berg. And it tells the story of the guys who survived the Deepwater Horizon oil rig explosion back in 2010. This film was fantastic. The character portrayal from Kurt Russell and Mark Wahlberg were fantastic, and it elevates above other disaster movies for me personally. I prefer it to other films like 2012 and those big disaster flicks. I just prefer Deepwater Horizon. Finally, I've got another one. I got Sully. I loved Sully. Clint Eastwood did a fantastic job of directing it. Tom Hanks gave us a fantastic portrayal as Captain Sully, and I just love how it's all shot. It's all shot as if it's like a crash scene investigation. Have you seen that show on the History Channel? It's a great show, and the story is told through interview tapes and flight simulations and all of that kind of thing, and it's got this strong story at the heart of it about a man who does not see himself as a hero, but he sees himself as a survivor, just like everyone else. But I can only give it to one, guys. Personally, this doesn't mean anything. This does not mean that this film is the greatest film ever, that it will be remembered for all time, but personally, this is just a film that I've watched so much this year. It's the film I've seen more than others. I know, I've counted how many times I've watched this film now. And it's the film that I'm just going to remember from 2016 the most. It's...
Got miles to go, but from the day I started crawling, I was on...
Sing Street. Sing Street is a fantastic film. I just love John Carney. I love his other two films, Once and Begin Again. This trumps them both for me. This is just... It epitomises the idea of growing up in Dublin, which I haven't done because I live in Southern Ireland. But still, if you haven't seen this film, I would recommend it. And I have a prediction. Best song, best original song, Oscar. Gonna go to this. So guys, that's it. That's all the awards. So if you're disappointed that your favourite film wasn't on here, unfortunately, like I said, I haven't seen all the films last year. I'd like to get back around to them, but there's so many this year as well that it's going to be a bit hard. But if you want to tell me what your favourite film was, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching over the past year, guys, and hopefully we'll be do bigger and better things this year. So, thanks for watching. That was the best of 2016, and let's see what the best of 2017 has to offer. See you guys.